Hello, I am Jackie Wright. I am a fourth year Japanese student at UMass. I use they, them pronouns. So, my hometown is good old Natick, Massachusetts. I came to UMass because when I was applying for schools, I knew that I wanted to be a Japanese major, and I only applied to schools that had that as an option. And between UMass, who accepted me, and Brandeis, who accepted me, UMass was, well, one, cheaper, but had when I came to UMass for accepted student state, it had a more like memorable effect. And I went, after a few days of thinking about it, I went, yeah, I know Brandeis is cool and all, but UMass is really sticking in my brain. I think it might have been that Worcester Dining Hall food. Not gonna lie. When I picked my major, everyone was like, "Oh, what are you going to do with it? Like, what's the end goal?" And I was like, this is about the journey, not about the end point, because it's all about how much progress I make doing it. That will define what happens at the end. Because if I can't speak to a second grader by the end of it, getting a company job might be hard, but teaching abroad still an option. Translation still an option. Even though it's bigger than it used to be, there's still enough of us that you can get real friendly with your classmates, move up relatively with the same people, and so you can build those connections, and it's very easy to uh, sort of make friends. Freshman year, I lived on the seventh floor of Webster dorm of Orchard Hill. I was, I guess, technically part of um, like a rap program that was a class. So I took a gen ed poli sci class, and everyone on that floor was in the same class as me for the most part. There were some kids who like swapped floors, but we are all in that class. And being, all freshmen, having no idea what's really going on yet, um, I wouldn't say it was necessarily easy to make lasting friendships, but a lot of us were able to go, okay, we're in this together. I guess coming into UMass was the first option of me really being free and independent enough, because I'm living away from home, for me to be able to go, hey, um, you know, as a person whose gender is not binary, um, and doesn't feel comfortable being placed in a dorm that is, all male or all female, or only having access to, facilities that are all male or all female. Um, as soon as I went through orientation, I was like, I need a dorm that will accommodate this. What dorms have that? The first dorm I got placed in did not have that option, so I had to, from home on my own, um, sort of call UMass Housing and be like, "Hey, I need to negotiate this," and they worked with me relatively well to be able to be like, "Okay, well, Webster is a freshman dorm that has, you know, neutral shower options that are like they only have two of them. They're handicap showers on the second floor, but it's also co-ed living for the most part. I mean, your roommate will still be, you know, whatever your sex marker on Spire is, but it's not like an entirely men's floor or entirely women's floor. Like the people living next to you will be boys and girls and of the sort. Um, so that was not bad. But living in Thatcher, Thatcher's an older building, so it did not have accessible facilities. There was one single handicap restroom on the first floor in the lobby, and that was it. Every floor had a gendered bathroom, so I, as neither of those, um, did not shower once in Thatcher. I actually went to the ILC building to shower. I went to South College to shower. On occasion, I would go up to my partner's dorm in Baker to go shower because those were the only places that had more accessible gender neutral shower options. Junior year, being able to live in a suite that had mixed gender marker living and our own private bathroom was so much more easier and comfortable to be able to go, oh, I can just walk across the hall to shower. I don't got to worry about whatever marker is on the door. Freshman year was definitely very big into going down to the Stonewall Center and going to a lot of Stonewall's events. So Pride Alliance, Cutie POC, which is the queer and trans people of color. Um, there were some other more recreational clubs, such as like I showed up to Anime Club a few times. I showed up to Cosplay Club for a while, but my schedule would always clash with those, so I ended up sort of falling out of a lot of clubs. Um, but I think they were good to be able to meet people and sort of get that club experience of some sort of being able to go, oh, UMass has a club that fits my interests, or fits something about that, my identity. But I feel like as a freshman, it was a very nice place to be able to go to and just sort of hang out in a safe and comfortable place. Um, I know they offer a lot of like when you walk in, they have a lot of flyers of just like, hey, these are things for tips on just general health and safety, coming out, sort of uh, helping to navigate access to things like name changes, gender marker changes, some of the more legal aspects, intersections of like um, mental health, mental illness, sort of some there are I think there are a few flyers of like, I'm in the LGBTQ and I have autism or like schizophrenia, like how can I exist as both? And the answer is, of course, yes. So they have little tidbit things that can get you started on a path. They did have a lot of fun events that would bring in other people. Pardon if this is inappropriate to say on Zoom, but I think one of the most popular events was Sex Toy Bingo, because it drew in a lot of people who didn't necessarily like the specific culture of like the events at Stonewall Center, but still could identify with that group and that identity. So those seems to be hit events. Um, I don't know much on the staff, but everyone was friendly and accepting from what I remember interactions being. A lot of the people graduated really soon after I started, so I don't know who the staff is now. Be kind to your fellow people, honestly. Uh, just be accepting, be understanding. If you don't know something, just ask politely. Don't be a butt about it. And, do some research on your own before you start making assumptions. Of
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jackie.
course.